Am I good enough? Should I continue to keep doing this? Should I quit YouTube? Burnout, motivational issues, anxiety, depression, constant pressure to produce content, produce frequent content, the constant pressure to please the YouTube algorithm. These are all things I think at some point, if you're a content creator on YouTube, you've felt these in some way, shape, or form. So this past weekend, I read an article by Simon Parkin from The Guardian, and it talks about YouTubers who finally get all of their wildest dreams satisfied, and they get all of this traffic, and their channel grows, and they become famous on YouTube. And then they come to find out that it's not all it's cracked up to be, that things like anxiety and depression and the pressures of constantly trying to feed the YouTube algorithm weigh on them heavily every single day. And then there's the pressures of creating content that you're not passionate about at all, or you absolutely don't like, just to constantly stay relevant and feed that YouTube algorithm. But first, before we get started, my name is John. This channel is for creators. It's for those who want to create. It's for motivation and inspiration, and to have a common area where folks can share their experiences out here on YouTube. And if that sounds like your kind of thing, then this is your channel. Please make sure you hit that red subscribe button, click that bell so you get notifications when I release content. And if you like the video, please hit that thumbs up. You know, we've all seen these large YouTubers do content that we're kind of scratching our head about, like, why would they do that? And then we start to see everyone releasing content related to the same topic. And what that is everyone trying to get into the YouTube algorithm. They're all talking about the same thing in hopes that they're going to be blessed and touched by the YouTube algorithm gods and have their content put out in front of everyone else's. Between you and I, honestly, in all transparency, we've all done it. We've all created content that we probably don't care about, but we wanted to do it because it was trendy and it was part of the topics that were hot at that point in time. And if you've been doing YouTube for any amount of time and you're having to constantly create content like that, it can wear on you, because ultimately we do this because we love it. We want to love it. We want to enjoy this. And if we're having to do things that we really don't like, it's going to wear on you really, really quickly, and you're not going to be happy. Let me read a quote from this article. I think it really summarizes everything really well. Professional YouTubers speak in tones at once reverential and resentful of the power of the algorithm. It's seen as a near sentient entity not only by creators, but also by YouTube's own engineers. Created by the high priests of Silicon Valley, who continually tweak its characteristics. This is the programming code on which the fate of every YouTuber depends. It decides which videos to pluck from the Niagara of content that splashes onto YouTube every hour. 400 hours worth every 60 seconds, according to Google, to deliver as recommended viewing to service billions of users. So I think we've all seen our fair share of talk about the algorithm and what YouTube's looking for. They sell software products out there to help us tweak our SEOs and just really try to manipulate the algorithm. But once we're all making really good SEO and feeding the algorithm exactly what it wants, what's it going to come down to at that point? In this article, it talks a little bit about the negativity on YouTube and how sometimes this kind of divisive and negative type content can get in a cycle really quickly. If somebody puts out something that's really bad, it can shoot right to the top just because of the nature of what the algorithm likes. And as content creators, we're told that our content needs to be consistent and needs to be frequent, or else we're going to fall out of favor of the algorithm. That really lends itself to a destructive kind of behavior on the part of content creators. If we don't ever feel that we can kind of take a break and for our own mental health, you're going to start to see people crumble, and they have started seeing people start to crumble. We've taken something that is fun, like YouTube, creating videos for people, and people are able to build businesses off of this. They're actually able to not go have real jobs out in the real world, and I'm putting real world in quotes. They're able to create income and hire people and build businesses right here like this. Now, if they were able to just do that without the stress of the algorithm, then that'd be one thing. But right now, they have to constantly make sure that they don't fall out of favor with the algorithm, which means if they take breaks, which they're told does hurt them in the algorithm, if they take long breaks or they take time off, you know, that could really hurt their channel, and they're afraid of that. Now, we know there's ways that you can do by banking content and releasing it over a certain amount of time, and I don't think we all really know exactly what is enough content to stay in favor and not enough content that kind of would make you fall off the radar. Is it okay to create content 2 days a week and take off 5 days a week? I don't know. I release twice a week and I do it the same exact days, hoping that the algorithm will see that I am releasing content consistently. But we all know, after being on YouTube, that the algorithm does favor daily vlogging, which is not sustainable for most people. You know, I've done daily vlogging for probably a month and a half before. You know, it's not something that's super healthy for people to do. I mean, I have a full-time job and a family and other responsibilities, so for me it was very destructive to do that. Now, if you're a full-time YouTuber and that's all you do, I really don't know what the stress of that would be. I'm not saying there isn't one, but I just can't speak to that. I found a really interesting part in this article that I want to read to you, a couple paragraphs. Catherine Lowe is a researcher into online communities at the University of California, Irvine. For her, it's not simply the frequency and consistency of content creation that led to burnout, but the specific nature of work required to keep audiences engaged, which includes being active on social media, interacting with fans, and other roles beyond writing, presenting, and editing. This kind of labor is often invisible but very taxing and a major contributor to the occupational stress. Lowe explains in many cases it can contribute to PTSD, especially when creators are subject to harassment, threats to their safety and privacy, and ongoing toxicity in their community. She recently released a list of occupational factors that contribute to the mental health risk for creators. It includes the exhaustion that comes from performing familiarity with the audience, the stress of reading comments, the financial anxiety with managing sponsorships and donations, and the pressures of managing reputation and professional ties. This algorithmically driven type of content creation really makes a content creator feel disposable, like it's not really us, it's all about the topics. It has nothing to do with the content that we're creating. I see tons and tons of really good content creators out there that if they're not releasing the super sexy, controversial stuff, they're not getting the play. They're fundamentally good, it's positive content, and their content is just really good. They know what they're doing and it's put together very well. If they're not creating something that's driving that velocity, that traffic to their channel, besides the content, it makes it really difficult to grow. The article says in order to avoid burnout, you need to do several things. You need to take breaks, you need to enjoy weekends and nights and vacations just like any other job. We all hope creators are discussing their struggles openly with others in the YouTube community. And this type of thinking is why I have the channel focused on what it is focused on now. I want to create a community, an area to kind of discuss things that, you know, for motivation and inspiration, but I want there to kind of be a support mechanism that we can come out here and talk real world type stuff. What are the issues? If most people understood what it's like on the other side of the camera, they'll understand that everyone who does this has the same struggles as everyone else. But because there's this filter in the edit, most people think that all these people have great lives, and that's not always necessarily true. I have a fantastic life, but I have a lot of stress in my life. I am a father, I have a husband, and I have a full-time job. I coach. I do all kinds of other things. This is not my life 100%. So this adds another layer of stress on me, and everything is not always perfect. I can get on here and be happy because I am when I'm doing this, but it doesn't mean my life is void of any kind of stress or pressure or depression or anxiety. I battle everything just like everyone else does. But I think when people watch these videos, they become blind to what is the reality. Just like when you're on YouTube and you see these successful people, a lot of people kind of are blind to the fact that they worked really hard for those things, that it's not really easy to become super rich and famous. You have to work at it. It doesn't come as easy as it looks on YouTube or on other social media platforms. So for this channel, I want this to be an area where I will discuss topics and be as real as I possibly can be about them. YouTube is hard. You do lose sleep. You have to work hard. And most of the time, the content you create is not going to be seen by a ton of people. You're going to have to grind it out. And there is a very large chance that I and you will never ever make it in the YouTube world. But as long as you love what you're doing, and we've talked about this before, you can continue to think about this in a healthy way. I'm not doing this because I expect it's going to be my income. I have a job. This is fun. This is my hobby. I want to help people. This is what I want to do. This is the value and the service that I want to provide. I want to be able to talk to people and just kind of have a platform to just have a good time and talk about the experiences out here on YouTube and the topics at hand and the struggles that we all have. You know, I'm not immune to any of the things that I talk about here. I struggle with all of them just like you. And it is kind of therapeutic to talk about it myself. And so for Catherine Lowe in this article, she says YouTube created this algorithm. It's the one that's made the rules of the game, and it can change it. If it really cares about the content creator community, the YouTubers out there, they can make changes to the algorithm that can help people do YouTube in a more healthy way. I think YouTube does have some sort of responsibility in the mental health aspect of content creators out here on YouTube. So I think anything they can do, they should be doing. And again, at the end of the day, you need the support. You need to make sure that you have people that you can talk to around you. And again, that's why I have this. I want people to come out here and watch this and say, you know what, that makes sense. I struggle with that too. I'm not alone, because you're not alone. There's been many nights that I wanted to break down because I've filmed for 40 days straight, and I'm tired. I was tired and I was worn out trying to do daily vlogging, and it was emotional because the more you create content and you don't see yourself growing, you don't see the subscribers ticking up, and you don't see the feedback and the engagement, it is hard as a YouTuber. It's very hard to create content that you don't think is getting the attention you deserve because you love the thing you make. This is an art. This is a thing we create, and we want people to enjoy it. But if you start to feel like YouTube is kind of screwing you over because you're doing everything right, you have proper description, you have proper tags, you have proper titles, because you're buying all these tools, and we're all doing it now, why do we not see the increase? There's things that we don't know about that we need to become better educated on. But mental health is definitely something we need to concentrate on out here, and I think we all need to make sure that we have support. We need to make sure we have people that are there to talk to us, and that we stay healthy both physically and mentally out here on YouTube. All right, everybody, that's all I have for you today. This is something that is near and dear to my heart. Most people out here are generally good people, and they want to be happy, and they want to create content that makes others happy. We don't want anyone in our community to struggle and to have issues with anxiety and depression. So anything that we can do to help support each other and talk to each other and be there for each other, I think is extremely helpful and healthy for all of us. So until next time, I will see you. Thanks for watching. Bye.